Hello, it's Cherie. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for stopping on this video. My husband and I keep getting asked what did we do to stay together for so long? We are within 5 weeks, a little over 5 weeks of 42 years, which to me is an amazing accomplishment because there's nothing easy about being married. In fact, I have wanted out of this marriage more often than I've wanted to be in this marriage, which is sad to say. But yes, things get really, really rough between two people, especially when you have differing ideas or you've done things to each other that weren't very nice. It's, well, I don't know about my husband. I can only speak for myself. But he loves to tell me how I have that filing cabinet that all men complain about. You know, everything that's ever been done wrong, it's in that filing cabinet, and I pull it up as a weapon. One thing that has definitely helped me to start tossing what's in the filing cabinet is something called 5 to Thrive. And I'm going to look through my notes and see if I can find it. So bear with me. I found it on the internet, not the internet, excuse me. I found it on YouTube, and I don't remember who it was that I was watching that was talking about 5 to Thrive and the 5 questions that you need to ask yourself. If anyone knows who came up with this, it was a gentleman. I don't remember his name, but it was brilliant, and I wrote it down, and I didn't write down who it was. So here we go. 5 to Thrive. Question number 1, what do you want? Question number 2, what do you need? Question number 3, what can you give? Question number 4, what are your musts? Question number 5, what are your must-nevers? When I first heard all of these questions, my mind was just racing with all kinds of stuff. You know, all these things, this must happen. This is things that I've argued about. Things that I want, things that I need, things that I must get, and things that must never happen. And that is one of the big fights, is this must never happen. You know, you're hanging on to all of this stuff that must never happen, but it happened. And then I really started thinking about the question, what are your must-nevers? And somewhere in my mind, something switched gears, something changed, and it was like, yes, must-nevers. It happened, but I'm still here. I'm still here 42 years later. So maybe it wasn't a must-never in the first place. Because through everything that has happened, every nasty, mean, horrible thing that we've done to each other, we're still here. So obviously I have not hit a must-never in this relationship. I have had must-nevers in other relationships. Guy number 1 that wanted to marry me threw a beer bottle at me. That was a must-never. I was done. Guy number 2 that was going to marry me, you know, I'm not really sure. It's funny because my must-never then was being his slave. We went from having this beautiful relationship to all of a sudden him being a total slob and expecting me to pick up after him like I was his mommy. That was a must-never. Apparently, because I didn't marry him. You know, so this relationship, though, nothing has torn us apart. Nothing. That's a really long speech on that, but what I'm getting at is, as I was thinking about the fact that nothing has torn us apart, that there absolutely have not been any must-nevers yet, there's a lot of things that we complain about with each other. You shouldn't have done this. This is horrible. I don't like this. You must never do it again. It didn't break us apart. So why complain about it? Why bitch about it? Why keep bringing up the past? Why not just let it go? It wasn't a must-never. It did not pull you apart. Why keep fighting about it? At least that's what I learned from this. And all the things that I complained about that I must have, this has to happen for me to be in this relationship, that wasn't true either, because I'm still here. And there are many things that I felt I must have that I have not gotten. But I'm still here 42 years later. What do I need? What do I want? Lots of complaining about that. But I'm still here. I must be getting what I want because I'm still here. I must be getting what I need because I'm still here. It's obvious to me that within this relationship, I have chosen to be here regardless of the wants that I don't feel are being fulfilled, the needs that I feel are not being fulfilled, my must-haves, whether they're being fulfilled or not, my must-nevers, whether they have happened or not. None of those have sent me packing. I'm still here. So to hang on to all that stuff that I fight about because I want this stuff to happen. I want what I want what I need, I want what is a must, and I definitely don't want the must-nevers. 5, to thrive. What do you want? What do you need? What can you give? What are your musts? What are your must-nevers? Now, question number 3, what can you give? What can I give? Do you know that giving... Do you know that giving to someone who doesn't know what they want is very difficult? Wow, see? When I start talking, I always get the ahas. What do you want, Cherie? And how can I get what I want if I don't know what it is? How can it be given to me? Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So yes, 5 to thrive questions. 5 questions. Start really thinking about them. For me, the biggest one was the must-nevers, because that was where most of my pain was in, oh my God, that must never happen, but it did. That was where I was holding on to pain. It happened, and it must never have happened, but it did, and I'm still here. Let it go. Let it go. Apparently it wasn't a must-never. I just keep telling myself it's a must-never. But it happened. The ugly side of human behavior came out on occasion, and things happened, and I'm still here. Question number 3, what can you give? That is also difficult if the person you want to give to has up walls. If the person you want to give to doesn't like what you're giving. If the person you want to give to doesn't know what they want or need. So again, that's a challenging question. What can you give? Oh, my fan just turned on. Sorry about that. What can you give? Are we supposed to give what we want to give? Or are we supposed to give what the other person wants us to give? I would imagine it's a combination of both. Tough question. All right, more insight is coming to me as I am editing this video. It just dawned on me that my wants and needs and musts and must-nevers are probably being taken care of, and they have nothing to do with the relationship whatsoever. And that's something that I need to dive into some more. How can I explain this? It's just now coming to me. Must-nevers. Things have happened that would probably rip most couples apart, but we're still here. Why? I'm going to just throw it out there that I'm thinking that one of my must-nevers is I must never get a divorce. I My mother has been married 5 times. My father was married twice. My husband's family is all messed up too. I even had an aunt and uncle that were together for 25 years or something like that, and I was so wanting to be like them. You know, let's just work this out. Let's figure out how to make this happen. And when they got a divorce, I was crushed. It's like, this is terrible. I have another aunt and uncle that actually made it till death do them part. They're both deceased now. But they made it all the way to the end, and it was like 75-year marriage or something. And I want that. That's what I want. I must never get a divorce. I must honor the commitment. Also, must never was, I must never have a broken family that my kids have to be a part of. I have a brother and sister that got adopted out. My mother had 6 children with 4 different guys. My husband had parts of his family, his siblings that got adopted out. His mom and dad had kids with different people. So lots of step siblings and half brothers and sisters and brothers and sisters that we didn't even know about until much later in life. I mean, it's just, I didn't want that for my children. That was a must never. So it was outside things coming into the relationship that was the glue that kept me here. Those musts and must nevers were stronger than what I needed in the relationship itself. And that is such an eye-opening thought that it's never crossed my mind before. It's just happening now, like I said, as I'm editing. And that is really going to help me understand this even more. Why did I tolerate some of the things that I tolerated? I don't know why he's tolerated some of the things, nasty things that I've done to him. I can't speak for my husband. All I know is that there's nasty things that have happened to me, and I'm still here. Why was I willing to do that? Marriage and keeping my family as one unit and not multiple pieces was so important to me that trumped everything else. I believe that. And I know there's other musts and needs and wants and stuff like that in there too. Outside things that influenced us. I can't speak for him. Influenced me to stay in this relationship, even though some of the things that happened again were just horrendous. Horrendous. And I don't know that most people would have stayed. Is it worth being so miserable and unhappy at times? Back then I would have said no, that it was stupid. Now, almost 42 years later, the last couple of years we have grown so much. Our relationship has changed so much. I have changed so much. He has changed so much. Things are rapidly getting so much better, and every day that the really good stuff happens, I am just so delighted that I stuck it out. I got my best friend. I'm getting all emotional. He's my best friend. He always has been, even though sometimes we just allow immature, horrible things to come out of our mouths. But yeah, he's my best friend, and I am so glad that I've stuck it out. And I can't wait, a little over 5 weeks from now to be able to say, hey, it's been 42 years. We're still together.